Everybody got that picture? That's the 20th century. Not the 19th, the 20th century here. If it didn't float, you didn't get here until the 20th century by any other means. We were isolated. We had been isolated. You've got 18,000 years rough terms of history before the 20th century. And then you've got that 114 years. The world changes with the 20th century. The world changes with the arrival of the railroad. The society changes, perspective changes, everything changes. You've got a long thousands of years of history, and then boom, everything changes. You couldn't cross that Caloosahatchee River that's a 1.25 miles wide by automobile until the end of the first quarter of the 20th century. So you couldn't drive here until after 1925. You had to be on a boat. And so before that time is what we're going to build, we're going to look at right now. If you came as a cracker coming into town, or not into town, into Florida, and you wanted a new life and so forth, well, let's go back one step. What's a cracker? What's a cracker?
A white person.
A white person. What else is a cracker?
Florida native.
Say again?
Florida native.
A Florida native. Anything else? I'm sorry?
Sometimes good with cheese or peanut butter. Delicious salty snack.
Yes. So, anybody else? A cracker is, etymologically speaking, a word that's 800 years old. Starts out in Gaelic in Scotland, and it speaks of an ilk of people, a type of people. They've got no resources, they've got no social standing, but they're ambitious, they're self-starters. Those people moved from Scotland to Ireland. The word cracker comes into the English vocabulary, Middle English, about 1500. Show you how old the use of the word is. Shakespeare uses it in 1595 in the play King John. That's how old cracker is. He's talking about a type of person, a literally characterization. Got nothing, wants more. And he don't need anybody to tell him that. Consequently, they moved to Ireland. They then, as a group, moved to the colonies. Thus you have the Scots-Irish, the Scots-Irish. Who better than an ilk of people who are self-starters, who are self-reliant, who are ambitious, to go into the Appalachians and Indian territories and the swamps of Florida, etc., than these cracker persons. And so we then have developed local lore on top of that. We put that over top of the word cracker. We put that over top of that ilk of people. And it depends on who you're talking to and who's receiving that message as to what cracker may mean. For instance, first definition, white people. It's true. In some places it can be highly derogatory. In some places it can be highly laudatory. Here the local lore is the crack of the cattle whip was heard long before, as the herds were coming through downtown, heard long before the herds got here. And that's our lore. Can anybody here tell or distinguish the difference between the crack of a slave whip or a crack of a cattle whip? Of
No.
course not. So it depends on who you're talking to, the situation, and so forth. So I've made it complex by giving you the etymology. How about making it simple now, little Jimmy? If a cracker comes to Florida and builds a house, what kind of house is it?
What kind of house is it?
Yeah.
Wood.
If a what? A cracker house. Yeah. This is tough now. I don't want to work you too hard. If a cracker owns a horse, what kind of horse is it? A cracker horse. Okay, very good. Very good. And if there's a cow owned by a cracker, it's a cracker cow.
If he opens up a restaurant, is it a Cracker Barrel?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that's the other extension. That's the other extension of the word cracker. So, if it's a cracker person and it owns something, that's how you make it very, very simple. This is what is the cracker house. Cracker comes, they got nothing, so they need a permanent structure. That permanent structure is, in fact, made with native resources. Do you want to bring in foreign resources?
Hell
Firstly,
no.
you don't have the money. Secondly, it's not a good deal. So, you're going to build a house. You're going to build it out of cypress. Cypress grows in the swamps. This is a hot, wet climate. It's humid. What better wood is going to be used than the wood of cypress to build a house? The inside is yellow pine. Yellow pine exudes a sap. Bugs hate it. Termites hate it. So you're going to make the inside yellow pine. When that sap dries, it dries hard as concrete. Helps structurally. You're going to put it on pilings. Why are you going to put it on pilings? Well, because you just told me it was a wet, humid climate. Actually not. Because in the 4th grade, you learned if you heat the air molecules, the air will rise, right? Hot air rises. And so you let air underneath the house, it rises up through the floorboards, goes to the tall ceiling, and through an exaggeratedly small aperture, creating a funnel effect going out the roof. You've created air circulation. So we live on the coast. You know the temperatures are going to go a temperature exchange, warming, cooling, cooling, warming. It creates what? Breezes, winds, high, low. Consequence, this house is exactly east and west. It's built in a shotgun fashion. Every window opposes a window. Every door opposes a door. And so you've got a home built by the cracker that has utilized all the natural resources and the education, because that's all they came with, is what they had learned. And they have taken nature's offerings, nature's resources to the best that they can possibly do. Questions? Walk through very quickly, please.
Wait, it was the crackers moved from Ireland then to Scotland, or was it the other way around?
Scotland to Ireland.
Ah, all right.
Shove that door open.
Not again.
Not again.